Hello and a very warm welcome back to the United Forum, ladies and gentlemen. This is bringing you your latest Manchester United news, transfer news updates, and your opportunity to voice your opinion now for the very first time in Sri Lanka. Now we're back once again with plenty of transfer news, I wouldn't say, but yes, we've got plenty of updates. Transfer news, considering transfer news. Uh, a bit of bad news for Manchester United fans, uh, a bit of good news, a mix of both, you could say. And to start off with, yes, I'll go with what the caption says. So let me start off with Tyrell Malacia. Now, Tyrell Malacia to Manchester United is a done deal, and here we go. He did have the first part of his medical done today. He has landed in Manchester. He will be doing the rest of his medicals hopefully by do excuse me hopefully by tomorrow, and he will sign the rest of the necessary documents or contracts, you could say, that needs to be signed, and he will officially be announced as a Manchester United player within the next week. And yes, a surprise deal, in fact a surprise signing for Manchester United. There were no real rumors, there were no real links. Olympic Lyon, if I'm not wrong, were linked to Tyrell Malacia, and United, yes, did hijack that deal, offered a little more than what Olympic Lyon or Marseille, if I'm not wrong, I'm not quite sure who it was, Olympic, which, let's have a look at that. Uh, so yes, the deal was definitely hijacked. We offered more than the previous team was willing to offer, and at the end of the day, it was up to Malacia to decide which team he would go to. And yes, Malacia did decide it was going to be Manchester United. And when Manchester United knocks, you really can't ignore it, can you? It's Manchester United, after all, the biggest club in England, and yes, definitely one of the biggest in Europe. Now, let me just have a look there. So yes, in fact, Olympic Lyon deal, yes, is the deal which was hijacked. So the official statement says that the contracts are still waiting to be signed for 15 million plus 2 million add-ons to Feyenoord. Malacia will be the first signing of the Den Haag era for Manchester United. The Olympic Lyon deal was hijacked as revealed on Tuesday, which is now confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. So yes, that is confirmation. Tyrell Malacia to Manchester United, done deal. A surprise one for Manchester United fans, and I think definitely a satisfactory one. We definitely needed a left back. We know how poor Alex Telles was last season. He was not up to expectations, not promising, and we definitely did know that we needed two new fullbacks. It's just that if it was of first priority, I would say no. But Tyrell Malacia, definitely 21 years in age, a promising left back from what I've heard. I've not watched him. Definitely, I've not watched him. Not really analyzed him quite a lot as well, but from what I've heard, the lad's quite a talented kid, and there are people and reports quite saying that he could be the next Joao Cancelo, because he plays as a left back, he plays on midfield, he also can play as a left centre back, so plenty of potential as a 21-year-old. And yes, people do, and reports do say that he could be the next Joao Cancelo, where he does play that inverted wingback sort of a role, joins that midfield, and it's a very weird role he does play, but something very effective, and I think would definitely help Manchester United, because United in a long time haven't had that, very flexible fullback, you could say, who could play as a wing back, who could play as a fullback, who could also play a bit in the midfield and maybe as a centre back as well. And it's been a really long time since United have had a proper attacking fullback, be it the left back, be it the right back. I know we've had Dalot. Dalot has not been promising at all. He's showed signs, but just not there as yet, just not up to the standards of Manchester United. Well, Tyrell Malacia in that hand is a youngster, has got plenty of room for potential. We know how good Erik Ten Hag, how good as a coach Erik Ten Hag is, in fact, and how much he could improve players, and how much he could bring what he has got and educate these players and transform them, because we've seen what he has, what he did do at Ajax, and how much he transformed young players, how much he brought the youth in to the first team and did give them that exposure and experience and transform their careers, and help them move into big clubs. and I definitely do think that this transfer would be a transfer that would be on the smoke screen, which would be eclipsed by the big names coming into Manchester United if they do come. Likely to be Frankie de Jong, Christian Eriksen, and yes, Lisandro Martinez is also being linked to United as well. So I think this Tyrell Malacia deal would be the deal like Rafael Varane was last season, where Rafael Varane for me was last season the signing of the summer, but was definitely eclipsed by the moves of Jadon Sancho and Cristiano Ronaldo. So I definitely do think Malacia would be that transfer which is smoke screened by the other transfers, because they are big names, reputed names, names with recognition and a much bigger profile considering him, because he is from Feyenoord, a much smaller league. People haven't been watching him quite a lot apart from the Dutch. So yes, interesting to see how Malacia would be at United. I definitely do think he would be a successful signing, especially considering the fact that we have Erik Ten Hag now coaching, and the fact that inverted fullbacks does suit his system quite well as well. And from what I've heard, seems to be a very promising talent as well. Now 15 million plus 2 millions. Would it be a bargain for Manchester United? We never know, because we've not seen him play yet. So excited to see these preseason tours start, in fact, as soon as possible as well. Excited to see how Malacia will adopt and adjust and start playing for United, and see how he does at United, because we've been crying for proper fullbacks, crying for attacking fullbacks with quality. We've seen that in Luke Shaw. Just one season, the past season, has not been the best for Luke Shaw. He was injured as well. We did think that Alex Telles might turn out to be that attacking fullback we needed at Manchester United, with that wonderful left foot. Unfortunately, he was given that opportunity last season and things did not work out, unfortunately for Alex Telles. And now we do have a youngster in Tyrell Malacia, a promising youngster who can attack, who can play in the midfield, who can play as a centre back, who can play as an attacking wing back, and also as a left back. So interesting to see how things would go up for Tyrell Malacia, and hopefully, yes, he would be that fullback United have been crying for ages, that replacement for Patrice Evra. Now, interestingly, my opinion on this is that yes, definitely I'm very happy on this transfer. Now, this signing also shows signs that United are prepared to go for other signings. We have been linked to a few other players as well, because United were not at all linked. In fact, there were rumors saying that United are linked, but it's just that United did not seem to be moving for the transfers apart from Frankie de Jong. Now, the fact that United have got this deal over the line shows that United have advanced in the deal for Frankie de Jong, because we did know that rumors and reports, in fact not rumors but reports, reliable and trustable tier 1 or tier 1 reports did come out and say that United don't want to pursue further deals, because they don't want that budget to be not sufficient to get the Frankie de Jong deal done, and to get that de Jong deal over the line. Now, the fact that United have got this deal done shows that United are aware of the price tag for Frankie de Jong and have said that money ready. Okay, that money's there. He would come to United for that amount, and the rest of the budget is now being allocated for other targets, and United are pursuing for other targets. So that is a good sign for Manchester United. Now, further updates. I really did not want to give you an update on Frankie de Jong, because the story is somewhat the same on Frankie de Jong. It's just that news has been recycled by the tier 1 journalists as well, and a popular name is Fabrizio Romano. So before I do move on to Frankie de Jong, I'll move on to Lisandro Martinez. So that is my update to you on, in fact, Tyrell Malacia. He is winning. He did opt for United over Olympique Lyon. Manchester United did hijack that deal for 15 million plus 2 million add-ons. Good signs is that United, that is a good sign showing that United have allocated their budget for Frankie de Jong and now is pursuing for other deals. Well, that could be another side of the story as well, because we are not quite sure. Any reliable journalist hasn't come out and said that United are aware of the price tag of Frankie de Jong, and that is why United are now pursuing for other deals. There could be another side to this story as well, and that could be that Frankie de Jong is not going to come to Manchester United, and the fact that this deal is taking so much time, United have now decided to leave that deal aside, pursue with other deals. We never know how it is going to be. There are always two sides to a story. Any top tier journalists or reports haven't come and give us clarification on that, so there could be two sides to this story, like I did tell you. So we never know how things would turn out to be. Hopefully this side of the story is the side that I told you previously, that Frankie de Jong's deal, the budget allocated for Frankie de Jong's deal is now confirmed, and that is why United are now pursuing for other deals. Now the next update to you is on Lisandro Martinez. Now, in fact, now we do know that Arsenal were hunting down Lisandro Martinez, because Arsenal were on top of the race as well for Lisandro Martinez, and United have somewhat, you could say, are trying to in fact hijack this deal too as well, you could say, because it was Arsenal leading the race for Martinez, and now suddenly United are also pursuing in this deal for Lisandro Martinez. Nothing as of now is in advanced stages, but United have inquired about Martinez and the situation, and right now, in fact, United are leading the race for Martinez as well. It was Arsenal, but at the moment it is Manchester United who are leading the race for Martinez. Mind you, now this is Lisandro Martinez, a left-sided centre back for Ajax last season. Now, the interesting thing about Martinez, before I get to that, let me just read this report out to you from Fabrizio Romano. Now, what Fabrizio Romano has to say is, in fact, Manchester United are preparing a bid for Lisandro Martinez. He's very high in Erik ten Hag's list. Race is open with Arsenal that have no intention to give up. Once Malacia deal will be signed and official, Manchester United will be on it, while Arsenal are still pushing. So this shows you that Manchester United have the upper hand on the Martinez deal, which I do think is a very good deal for United. Now, the interesting thing about Lisandro Martinez, like I tell you, and just before I go, this is the other update we did get from Fabrizio Romano, is that Manchester United's official proposal for Martinez is better than Arsenal's one, but not enough yet. AFC are still there, that's Arsenal Football Club are still there. Manchester United also pushing to agree on personal terms with Lisandro Martinez. Ten Hag is a key factor. Lisandro will ask Ajax to leave as he wants the Prem move. Now, the interesting thing about this is that Martinez wants to leave Ajax, he wants a Prem move, and he is keen to join Erik ten Hag, his former manager. Now, United's proposal is for, United's proposal for Martinez is better than the proposal what, in fact, Arsenal did propose, and the final decision is up to Lisandro Martinez which proposal he would choose, whether it is going to be Arsenal, whether it is going to be Manchester United. In my prediction, as things are seeming to be, it definitely is going to be Manchester United. I do think that Martinez would opt for Manchester United, because Manchester United are definitely a bigger club than Arsenal, and likely seeming to be the club that would get Champions League football before Arsenal. And the fact that Martinez could also rejoin his former boss Erik ten Hag, gives us that upper hand with the deal. So I do think he would opt for Arsenal, and I know that Ajax are saying that the deal is in fact the proposal of 40 million is not enough, but the fact that Martinez is pushing for this transfer, I do think Ajax would accept that 40 million, because the player himself is pushing for that move. And the latest update for you from Fabrizio Romano is that his camp will be clear again with the Ajax board. He only wants the Premier League football, so he wants to make a choice between Arsenal and Manchester United, which I definitely do think would be United, hoping for Ajax to let him go. Erik ten Hag confident on the deal and pushing again. So like Fabrizio Romano keeps saying, I think from the reports that he has been putting out, really shows that United right now have the upper hand for the deal. So I do think that United would win the race. It would be a matter of if than when. In fact, when than if. When Martinez would accept the deal. I do think yes, it would be a good transfer. Now, my opinion on this Martinez deal is that now we do know that Lisandro Martinez did play as a left-sided centre-back for Arsenal. In fact, Ajax, my bad, not Arsenal. And we also did get reports that he also plays as a left-sided centre-back. He also can play as a left back, and he has also played as a defensive midfielder. Now, For 3 summers, Manchester United have been crying for a left side, in fact, for a defensive midfielder. And this summer too, Manchester United just doesn't seem to be linked to any defensive midfielder. And if you take the market at the moment as of now, that there really isn't any top tier defensive midfielder Manchester United would go for, because we do know that Manchester United go for players who have that recognition of a high, in fact have that reputation of a world class player. An example is Frankie de Jong. United are not a team which would go for these players at Portugal, and players who don't have that profile, such as a Frankie de Jong or a Christian Eriksen. United are meant to go for these players with those high profiles and images. So the fact that if you look at the transfer window right now, there just doesn't seem to be any defensive midfielder of that profile, apart from Ruben Neves, who I do think is not an out-and-out defensive midfielder. Yes, we do have Wilfred Ndidi at Leicester City, who I think would cost a whole lot for Manchester United, but right now the only option we do have, if you look at it, if we do get this Lisandro Martinez deal done, would I, as the manager of Manchester United, play him as left-sided centre-back, or as a centre-back in simple terms? No, I would rather play him as a defensive midfielder. Now, I know that Martinez hasn't played as a defensive midfielder for quite a couple of years, or more than a couple of years, you could say, but United have been crying and desperate for a defensive midfielder for 3 years. We saw how much of a change Nemanja Matic made whenever he was on, and playing those few minutes he did play. And that is why I would play Martinez as a defensive midfielder, because I do think that Martinez is an upgrade of Scott McTominay and Fred, who we have played as defensive midfielders in the past couple of seasons. Now, would Erik ten Hag play Donny van de Beek as a defensive midfielder? I would say he is much better as a centre midfielder or as a number 10 rather than a defensive midfielder. Would I play Frankie de Jong as a defensive midfielder? Definitely not. What options do I have? Fred, no. We saw how much of an improvement he was when he was a box-to-box midfielder. Would I play Scott McTominay? Definitely not in my squad. Lisandro Martinez is my only option, and that is why I would go for Martinez, because United have been desperate for a defensive midfielder. We have been crying for a defensive midfielder, and like I did tell, we saw how much of a change a player like Nemanja Matic did, who is an out-and-out defensive midfielder, and that is why I would opt for a defensive midfielder such as a Nemanja Matic. And the fact that we don't have many options out there at the moment, and the fact that we did lose Babacar Kamara to Aston Villa, is why I would go for Lisandro Martinez as a defensive midfielder more than a left-sided centre-back. Considering centre-backs, if we do have no other option, I would stick to Lindelof and Rafael Varane, and maybe by next summer window or by January, if we do have options, go for a centre-back. But my priority this summer, no matter how many signings United get done this summer, as long as we don't get a defensive midfielder this summer, this transfer window is going to be just another average transfer window, in my opinion. That is my opinion. Do share in your opinions on the live chat as well. To send in your opinions on these transfer deals that have been done, that is titled Malacia. What do you think about Malacia? What do you think about Lisandro Martinez as the manager of Manchester United? Where would you play Martinez? Would you play him as a centre-back, considering our defence has been weak and fragile? Or would you play him as a defensive midfielder, considering the fact that we have been desperate and crying for a defensive midfielder? Now, moving on from Malacia, we would go on to Frankie de Jong. Now, the Frankie de Jong deal, transfer saga, has to be the worst transfer saga Manchester United have had in years, because this has been dragging for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. It has been dragged so much that the speciality this transfer deal would have got to Manchester United has completely faded, and that is why I think this transfer deal is frustrating me out as well, and which is why I would like to talk about. But I will give you your latest. Now, the latest from Fabrizio Romano on this deal is that Barca president Laporta on de Jong comes and says that there are many clubs that want him, not just Manchester United, that is Frankie de Jong. We have no intention of selling him. He wants to stay at Barcelona. I'm going to do everything to keep Frankie, but there's also a salary issue, and that would have to be adjusted. Now, Yes, this is from a tier 1 journalist. This is from Fabrizio Romano himself. But do I believe these reports? In my opinion, no. I know these are the very words of John, in fact, Laporta, the president of Barcelona. But as a president of a football club, what more do you expect him to say? I do now. If I was the president of Manchester United, and if I did come and say we do expect, honestly, if I did come and say any player out there is expected to leave, most of the fans out there would be happy. But at the moment, if I was the president of Manchester City, you could say, and if I did come and say that Kevin De Bruyne is about to leave, uh, definitely as Manchester City fans, you wouldn't be happy. But if I was the president of Manchester United fans, and if I did come and tell you that any player out there was going to leave, you definitely would be happy. And that is why I did not consider myself as the Manchester United president. But as the Barcelona president, don't expect him to come out and say, yes, we are looking forward to sell Frankie de Jong, who is a key player from Barcelona. So you wouldn't expect your president to come out and say, yes, we are expecting the key player of Barcelona, Frankie de Jong, to leave because we are having financial issues and he is not willing to put down his lower his wages. So we have to sell him off. So yes, Frankie de Jong to Manchester United is a done deal. You definitely don't expect a president to come out and say that. So I think it's common sense that Laporta is coming out and saying this, but I definitely do think the Frankie de Jong deal would be done by the end of this transfer window. I do think de Jong would be a Manchester United by the end of this transfer window. How long it would take, I'm not quite sure. I do feel, now this is my opinion, this is just my gut feeling saying that De Jong is being a little stubborn in this deal since he just want to stay at Manchester United, because in fact just want to stay at Barcelona. It's his dream club. It's his dream club, and he definitely wouldn't want to leave his dream club. And if there is the slightest possibility he could stay at Barcelona, I do think De Jong would take his chances. Now listen, my dream club is Manchester United, and if I was a player at Manchester United and the reason I have to leave is because of my wages, because of financial issues, the slightest chance I would have to stay at Manchester United I would take rather than going to Barcelona. And I think that is definitely the situation with Frankie de Jong as well. He would look at the slightest chances that he would get to stay at Barcelona, but I think at the end of the day, I know Manchester United know, Barcelona and Laporta himself knows, and I do think De Jong deep down knows as well that he can't stay at Barcelona due to the situation, and that the only option he does have at the moment is Frankie, in fact Manchester United, and a key factor in that is Eric Ten Hag. Yes, I do think, I'm pretty sure that De Jong would be a Manchester United player by the end of this season, unless a miracle does happen to Barcelona and they get out of this financial situation, which I don't think would happen. In fact, they would get out of it, but if it's during this summer, I only think it would be about 45 to 50%. But definitely, in order to keep Young at Barcelona, they would have to get out of this financial situation at least by 75%, and that is why I do think De Jong would be a Manchester United player by the end of this season. Now, my opinion on De Jong I have given you. I think he would be a superb a transfer for Manchester United. My only worry is that his dream club, his childhood club, his dream since his childhood has been to play for Barcelona. My only worry is that would he be happy at Manchester United? I would rather have a very happy not Bernardo Silva, but I definitely think Bernardo Silva won't come to United. But I would rather have a very, very, very happy Hakim Ziyech at Manchester United rather than have an unhappy Frankie de Jong, because I want every player at Manchester United starting this season play for that crest on their chest from the bottom of their heart, put their heart and soul out on that pitch for Manchester United, and not just play for the sake of money, play for the sake of their wages, and play for the sake of just coming to United because of financial situations, just like Frankie de Jong. So I understand the fact that this deal is taking a lot of time, because you have to, you know, give what Barcelona is asking. You have to agree on personal terms. You have to make sure that this player is happy, who is looking at the most slightest chances, the most open space of light, to get into Barcelona and to stay at Barcelona. It's definitely a huge deal for United to get over with. But I do think De Jong would be a Manchester United player by the end of this season, and I do hope it would be a very, very happy Frankie de Jong, because I really don't want an unhappy Frankie de Jong playing for the sake of money and playing for the sake of having financial difficulties at Barcelona and then coming because he had no other option. I want a very, very, very happy Frankie de Jong at United. Now moving on, the headlines of today. Cristiano Ronaldo demands Cristiano Ronaldo wants to move out of Manchester United. Now, plenty of reports coming out and saying that Cristiano Ronaldo has told the club that if the right offer comes, he wants to leave United. Now, the thing with Cristiano Ronaldo is that he likes Eric Ten Hag, but he has also asked to leave Manchester United because he seems that Manchester United has no ambition. Cristiano Ronaldo himself feels that United need at least another 5 to 6 signings done by the end of this season in order to get back to glory days, in order to get back to winning ways. And Ronaldo doesn't seem to be, Ronaldo sees that ambition in Manchester United doesn't seem to be there. United have plenty and plenty of miles to catch up, decades below, light years below the top clubs like Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester City. And Ronaldo just doesn't seem to see that ambition. In fact, Ronaldo doesn't see that ambition in Manchester United to get back to the glory days, get back to where United were. And that is why Ronaldo has come out and said that if the right offer does come, he does want to leave Manchester United. Now, this in fact has come from very reliable journalists, very reliable sources, and that is why, in fact, Ronaldo has come and said this. Moving on. Maybe the Ronaldo, Asher Malaya says maybe the Ronaldo demand is a blessing in disguise for Manchester. It may push the owners to do some business. Yes, getting to that as well. Now, like I told you, in fact, Ronaldo has come out and said that he does not see the ambition in Manchester United, and that is why he wants to leave. George Mendes has also offered Ronaldo to Chelsea, the likes of Chelsea, PSG, Bayern Munich, and definitely Bayern are not in the race for Ronaldo as of now, but Bayern would definitely have a look at Ronaldo if Lewandowski does leave for Barcelona. Chelsea are looking at Cristiano Ronaldo as well. PSG at the moment are not very interested. And now, like Asher Malaya in fact says here, maybe the Ronaldo demand is a blessing in disguise for Manchester United. It may push the owners to do some business. Now, this report, the fact that Ronaldo has come out and said this, in fact, also may be to push Manchester United and get in more signings done, because Manchester United has come out and said that United are definitely not looking to sell Cristiano Ronaldo. Eric Ten Hag has Ronaldo in his plans for this season. Manchester United want Cristiano Ronaldo to be part of the plans for this season. Definitely, I do think so, because the Glazers do get the shirt sales, do get their money into the pocket, so they would want Ronaldo at Manchester United. Now, this may also, like Asha does say here, is you could say a tactic by Cristiano Ronaldo to push Manchester United in to get more signings done. It's interesting. I really do hope that, like I told you, there are two sides to these stories. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo may actually be looking to leave because there is no ambition at Manchester United, which we do know. Or he also must be doing this in order to push United for transfers. Now, let's take both sides of this story, starting with if Ronaldo does leave. Now, if Ronaldo does leave, leave Manchester United, that actually puts United in a plenty of trouble, because we had the worst season last season. We had the worst season Manchester United has had in the past decade, or even more, you could say. And Ronaldo leaving puts us in even more trouble, because there are no real options we could have as a backup for Cristiano Ronaldo. In fact, not backup, but replacement for Cristiano Ronaldo. If you look at the market for strikers, there really isn't any, striker United would go for and look into the future with that striker as a part of a project which seems to be rebuild. Excuse me here. As a part of a project, a rebuilding project. Now, would United go back with Anthony Martial as a striker, which I really don't want to rely on, because Anthony Martial is a player who has been good a season, shown us glimpses of season, go on to the next season, lose that consistency, again another good season, again a bad season. He has not had that consistency, and he has been quite poor the past few seasons, and that is why I really don't want to have Anthony Martial as the all-out striker for Manchester United next season if Cristiano Ronaldo does leave. And you look on to the market of strikers. Who do we have in the market to replace Cristiano Ronaldo? Now, United will link with Danny Ings. Now, is Danny Ings an actual striker you could have on a project which is a rebuild, a project we are looking into the future for the future of 3 to 4 years ahead? No. Luis Suarez? No. Who do we have? Lewandowski wants to go to Barcelona. The only realistic options United have are Victor Osimhen and Joao Felix. Now, Osimhen is going to cost us plenty of money, at least an 80 million. Now we do know that our budget is limited to about 120 to 150 million. Let's just say it's 150 million right now. If it is 150 million, we have allocated 80 million of that budget to Frankie de Jong already. And if you really want to go for Osimhen, which we can do, because if he would cost another 80 million, Frankie de Jong's 80 million plus Osimhen 280 million, which would cost 160 million. United definitely can have a few outgoings and add that 10 million to the budget of 150 million. But that would only mean two transfers for Manchester United. Now we can't really do that because we have also got Tyrell Malacia in for 15 million at the moment. So 80 million is already allocated for Frankie de Jong, you could say. So that is 95 million. We've only got another 50 to 45 million left of our budget. And 80 million is double that amount for Victor Osimhen. And Joao Felix, I am very, very sure that Atletico Madrid would have a huge price tag for him as well. I remember about 2 or 3 summers back, in fact 1 or 2 summers back, Atletico Madrid were asking for at least 120 million for Joao Felix. I expect at least another 80 to 90 million asking for Joao Felix if we do go for him. And asking him for 80 million, Felix for 90 million is way too much, so we definitely wouldn't go for them. If you take Ronaldo sales, we would only get about 40 to 50 million from Ronaldo, which is definitely not enough. 30 million short. So what do we actually do? Because we have important areas to cover up at United. We need a defensive midfielder, which we haven't been linked to at all. We are going for Lisandro Martinez, but he hasn't played as a defensive midfielder for at least 2 seasons. So I do hope and pray he does play as a defensive midfielder, because we are trying and desperate for that defensive midfielder. We are going for Frankie de Jong, Tyrell Malacia for 15 million, Christian Eriksen on a free are the likely transfers at United at the moment. We really don't seem to be going for a striker. Anthony seems to be very unlikely at the moment with that high asking price of Ajax. So at the moment, Malacia, Martinez, De Jong and Eriksen seem to be the likely deals. Eriksen is a number 10. He could play on the right. Interesting to see where he would play, because if we do play him as a number 10, that would mean we, Manchester United, have 3 number 10s for next season. Bruno Fernandes, Donny van de Beek, Christian Eriksen. We also have Frankie de Jong, who I would think would add a different dimension to that midfield, because we haven't had a midfielder of Frankie de Jong's caliber. So I do think he would add a different dimension to that midfield, way more quality. It's like adding platinum to a tin of tins, you could say. And if that does make sense. And Martinez as a left-sided centre-back or a defensive midfielder, and Malacia as a third left-back or maybe a second left-back. So a striker at the moment really seems to be not an option for United with that budget we do have. And if Ronaldo does leave, that really does put Manchester United in plenty of trouble. So it's worrying if he does leave. So fingers crossed, hopefully he does not leave. So that's plenty of trouble for United. So fingers crossed, let's pray that he doesn't leave. I know plenty of you say that Ronaldo is actually the problem at Manchester United. Now listen, I understand that he is 37 years old and he is not the best of players at the moment in the current footballing era who does drop back and press. We understand he is 37 million, but United have got plenty of problems. Manchester United employ the likes of Eric Bailey, Phil Jones, Harry Maguire, Fred, Scott McTominay, and plenty of other players out there who needs offloading from Manchester United. And you have Manchester United fans out there coming out and saying that Cristiano Ronaldo is a problem at Manchester United. Are you serious? Because in the most pathetic of teams, United have had the most disastrous of teams United have had in the past decade. We had the last season, the most disastrous season United could ever imagine. And Cristiano Ronaldo, a 37-year-old player, was the standout player at Manchester United at such a season, and people are calling Cristiano Ronaldo the problem at Manchester United. Are you actually serious, man? I definitely do think he is not the problem at the moment. Yes, we do need a backup striker. What I would say the ideal solution to this Cristiano Ronaldo situation at the moment is that the fact that we are rebuilding, the fact that this is a new era, United should have been going to this transfer window considering, hypothetically imagining that we don't have Cristiano Ronaldo and going in for a striker. We should be going into this transfer window as if we don't have Cristiano Ronaldo in Manchester United, but we do have him, because definitely within the next season or two Ronaldo is leaving and we do need a striker at United. I definitely think United should have gone pushed furthermore for Darwin Nunez. Explain to him the fact that Ronaldo is 37, he won't be playing every game, definitely not the Europa League games. At least you have your opportunity for one season. You are going to play as a number 2 striker for just one season, but you will get decent game time. But from next season onwards, we could promise you that you will be the main striker for Manchester United and build the team with that striker. And it will be interesting to see what happens with this Cristiano Ronaldo situation. Like Malaya does say here, Asha Malaya does say here, hopefully it is just to push United to get some business done, and hopefully it is not actually to leave United, because if he does leave, that puts Manchester United in deep trouble, because the transfer market for strikers is actually dead. We don't have decent strikers. You look at the likes of City have, you look at the strikers at the Premier League, in fact, City have Haaland, Liverpool's got Darwin Nunez, Chelsea's got Kai Havertz, you could say, yeah, but leave Chelsea aside, my mistake. In fact, Spurs have got Harry Kane, and Arsenal's now got Gabriel Jesus as well, who is more than a decent striker. So I think Ronaldo leaving United could put us in plenty of trouble. And like I did keep saying, hopefully it's for the best of things that Ronaldo has come out and given this reports and spoken out as well. And I'm actually happy that he has done this in a way, because it is exposing the Glazers, it is exposing Manchester United and what is actually happening at Manchester United at the moment. So that's also a positive from this. But let's do hope and pray that Cristiano Ronaldo does stay at Manchester United. That's pretty much it from tonight's show. I really apologize for the long show. I know you guys have been requesting me to have a couple of short videos, because it's a little too long, but we have had plenty of news to cover today. Unfortunately, I couldn't have the show on Friday, as well as I did have a raga match as well. It's a raga season here in Sri Lanka, so I've got matches every Fridays and Saturdays, so it's really difficult to cope up with the shows. But definitely you will have your shows on Sunday, and hopefully the power cut schedule does not change here with this ongoing crisis in Sri Lanka. At the moment, the power cuts are from 7:30 to 9, and hopefully they don't extend these phases because of the fuel crisis in Sri Lanka. If they do in fact increase the phases of the power cut, I won't be able to do these shows on Sunday, so hope and pray that does not happen. That's pretty much it from tonight's show. Plenty of news covered up today. I really did enjoy tonight's show. Plenty of news covered up. Really enjoyed giving these reports out to you and sharing my opinion out to you as well. Do leave your opinions on the live chat if you are still watching this live. If you have got any feedback, any opinion, anything related to Manchester United, do leave that on the comment section as well. If you are not watching this live, if you are new to the channel, do give us a subscribe, smash a like on this video, share this video around with all your friends and family, get them to subscribe in as well, smash a like to all our videos, and do give your opinions, not just on Manchester United, do give your opinions on the channel as well, and we will give our best to bring you your improvements, to satisfy your opinions and feedbacks as well. So do keep tuning in every Friday and Sunday at 10 p.m. for your latest Manchester United news, in order to share your opinion as well for the first time in Sri Lanka. Do follow us on our socials, in fact, at the United Forum on our Instagram page. You also can go ahead and click on the description and click on that link and hit that follow button if you are a little lazy to type that username on the search bar on Instagram. So do keep tuning every Sunday in fact every Friday and Sunday at 10 p.m. In fact every Friday and Sunday and 10 on I'm getting that mixed up. So do keep tuning every Friday and Sunday at 10 p.m. for your latest Manchester United news. Do keep sharing your opinions. Do keep, sharing your love. And let's grow as community, the community of the United Forum. And until I see you next week for the next show, bringing you hopefully here we go for Frankie de Jong or Christian Eriksen. Hopefully Frankie de Jong. I just want this Frankie de Jong saga to finish as soon as possible. So hopefully I've come up with the here we go for you next Friday. Next Friday, yes, for Frankie de Jong. And until then, do have a blessed weekend. Have a blessed week. Stay close to your loved ones at these difficult times. If you are Sri Lankan, in fact, not just Sri Lankan, around the world, yes, we are going through hard times, financial crisis, inflation. So yes, do stay close to your loved ones at all times. And until I see you next Friday at 10 p.m., have a blessed week. And in fact, the weekend's finishing already as well. So have a blessed week. And until I see you next time, this is good night and goodbye. This is